I was decorating the house for Christmas, opened the window, and overheard my sister. "I don't want to spend Christmas with that loser," Mom replied, "just until she pays for the house renovation." I smiled and planned my next move. I was standing on a ladder, hanging Christmas lights, when I opened the kitchen window for air and heard my sister's voice drift up from the backyard below. "I don't want to spend Christmas with that loser." My hand froze on the strand of lights. That was Rachel's voice, my younger sister, the golden child who could do no wrong. Mom's response came quieter, but clear enough. "Just until she pays for the house renovation. Then we can drop her." The ornament I'd been holding slipped from my fingers. I caught it an inch from the floor, my heart hammering so hard I thought they might hear it 2 stories down. They were talking about me. "How much longer do I have to pretend?" Rachel whined. "She's so pathetic, Mom. Always trying so hard to be part of this family. It's embarrassing." "The contractor says 2 more payments," Mom said. I could hear her lighting a cigarette, the click of the lighter, the exhale. 15,000 each. Then we're done with her. Completely. I climbed down from the ladder slowly, carefully, like I was defusing a bomb. My legs felt disconnected from my body. The Christmas music playing from the living room, Jingle Bell Rock, suddenly sounded obscene. 6 months. I'd been paying for their house renovation for 6 months. It started in May. Mom had called me crying, which wasn't unusual, but this time felt different, desperate. "The roof is leaking into the living room," she'd sobbed. "The kitchen ceiling is going to collapse. I can't afford to fix it. I raised you girls alone after your father died. I sacrificed everything. Please, honey, you're the only one who can help me." Rachel was in grad school, Mom explained. She couldn't be expected to contribute. But me? I had a good job, a software engineer at a mid-sized tech firm. I was comfortable. Comfortable. That's what she'd called it. So I'd said yes. Of course I'd said yes. You don't let your mother's house fall apart around her. The first payment was 15,000. My entire savings account, wiped clean in one transfer. Mom had hugged me so tight I couldn't breathe. "You're saving my life," she'd whispered. The second payment came from my emergency fund, another 15,000. Mom had made her famous lasagna that night, the one she used to make for my birthday when I was little. "Family takes care of family," she'd said, squeezing my hand across the table. The third and fourth payments, 30,000 total, had come from my 401k, early withdrawal, penalties and all. I'd been eating ramen and peanut butter sandwiches for 2 months to make my rent. I'd canceled my gym membership, stopped buying coffee, wore the same 3 outfits to work on rotation because I couldn't afford new clothes, but it was worth it, I'd told myself, because I was helping my mom, because family comes first, because maybe finally I'd be the daughter she could be proud of, instead of the one who always fell short of perfect Rachel. I stood in the kitchen now, still holding that ornament, and looked at the half-decorated room. The tree I'd bought with my last discretionary $100. The garland I'd spent 3 hours hanging. The cookies I'd stayed up until midnight baking because Mom mentioned she missed my chocolate chip recipe. Loser. Pathetic. Always trying so hard. My phone was in my pocket. I pulled it out, opened the voice recorder app, and very quietly opened the window again. The December air bit at my face. "Can't believe she actually drained her retirement," Rachel was saying. "Who does that?" "Someone who's desperate to be loved," Mom replied. Her voice had that clinical detachment she used when talking about other people's problems. I'd never heard her use it about me. "It's sad, really, but useful. Do you think she suspects anything?" "God, no, she's too busy playing happy family. Did you see her Facebook post last week? So grateful for my amazing mom, with about 50 heart emojis. It's mortifying." They both laughed. I recorded for 3 more minutes, Rachel complaining about having to fake nice through Christmas dinner, Mom describing how she'd already told her friends she was planning to downsize and wouldn't have room for me to visit anymore. Then I closed the window, stopped the recording, and saved it to 3 different cloud services. My hands weren't shaking. That surprised me. I felt calm, cold, like something inside me had crystallized into ice. I went back to decorating the house, hung every light, placed every ornament. By the time they came back inside an hour later, the house looked like a Christmas catalog explosion. "Oh, honey, it's beautiful," Mom exclaimed, pressing her hand to her chest like she might cry from joy. Rachel gave me a tight smile. "You really went all out." "Well," I said brightly, "it's Christmas. Family time is so important." That night at dinner, I was positively effervescent. I complimented the pot roast, asked Rachel about her thesis, told Mom the new kitchen backsplash was stunning. "The contractor did amazing work," I said. "It'll be perfect when it's all finished." Mom beamed at me. "Only 2 more payments, and everything will be done. I can't thank you enough, sweetie." "Anything for family," I replied, watching Rachel nearly choke on her wine. I left at 9, claiming I had an early morning. Mom hugged me goodbye, one of those long, tight hugs that used to make me feel safe. Now it just felt like performance art. "I love you," she said into my shoulder. "I know," I replied. Not, "I love you too," just, "I know." She didn't notice. The next morning, Saturday, I woke up at 6 a.m. and made coffee. Then I opened my laptop and got to work. First, the contractor. I'd been writing the checks directly to him, so I had his number saved. I called at 7:30. "James, this is Sarah Chen. I've been paying for the renovation at 847 127 Maple Street. Oh, hi, Sarah. Yeah, we're about 70% complete. Just need those last 2 payments to finish up the kitchen and repair the... I'm canceling the remaining payments. Effective immediately. Silence. Then, I'm sorry, what? The project is over. I won't be making any more payments. But there's still $30,000 of work to complete. The contract is between you and the homeowner. That's my mother, Diane Chen, not me. I was paying as a courtesy, but I'm done now. Send her the bill for the remaining balance. Ms. Chen, I don't think you understand. We've already ordered materials. I've got subcontractors scheduled. The kitchen doesn't have a functional sink yet. The roof still has. That sounds like something you should discuss with Diane, not me. Goodbye, James. I hung up before he could respond. Second, the bank. I drove to the branch that opened at 8 a.m. and waited in my car until the doors unlocked. When I walked in, I went straight to a personal banker, a woman named Patricia who'd helped me set up my savings account 7 years ago. I need to remove myself from a joint checking account, I said. She pulled up the account. It was the one I'd been on since Dad died 12 years ago. Mom had added me for emergencies, so I could pay bills if anything happened to her, she'd said, so I could help out. Before I remove myself, I said carefully, I need to make a withdrawal. Of course. How much? $8,000. Patricia glanced at the screen. The account had about $11,000 total. That's a substantial portion of the balance. Are you sure? Absolutely sure. And I have documentation that this is money I loaned the account holder last year for property taxes. I pulled out my phone and showed her the text exchange from March 2024. Mom, honey, I'm $8K short for property taxes. Can you help me out? I'll pay you back as soon as my IRA dividend comes through. Me, of course. I'll transfer it today. Mom, you're a lifesaver. I'll pay you back in a few weeks. She never paid me back, I explained to Patricia. Called it helping family whenever I brought it up. But I have this text where she explicitly calls it a loan. Patricia looked uncomfortable, but nodded. Legally, as a joint account holder, you're entitled to withdraw these funds. I just want to make sure. I'm sure. She processed the withdrawal. Then she removed me from the account entirely. The whole thing took 20 minutes. Third, my apartment. I called my landlord from the bank parking lot. Tom, it's Sarah Chen in 4B. Is my lease renewal offer still available? The 2-year? Sure, but I thought you said you were moving in with family? Change of plans. I'd like to stay. Can you send me the paperwork today? You got it. I'll email it this afternoon. Done. I spent the rest of Saturday organizing documents. Every check I'd written for the renovation, saved as PDFs. Every text message from Mom about the house backed up. The recording from yesterday transcribed by an AI service so I had both audio and written proof. Bank statements showing the cash transfer to Mom last year. Everything went into a folder labeled Evidence. I also drafted an email, not to send yet, just to have ready. It listed every payment I'd made with dates and amounts. Total, $63,000 when you included the property tax loan. The email explained, in calm, professional language, how I'd discovered I was being used, how I'd been called a loser and pathetic, how they'd been planning to cut me off the moment the money stopped flowing. I didn't send it, but I saved it in my drafts folder, addresses already filled in. My Aunt Linda, my Uncle Marcus, 3 family friends who'd known me since childhood, just in case I needed them to know the truth. Then I took a long, hot shower, ordered Thai food delivery, the expensive kind I hadn't let myself have in months, and watched a movie. I slept better than I had in half a year. Sunday morning, my phone started ringing at 8:47 a.m. Mom. I let it go to voicemail. She called again at 8:51, again at 8:55. At 9:02, I finally answered. What the hell did you do? I held the phone away from my ear. Even at a distance, her voice was loud enough to hurt. Good morning, Mom. What's wrong? James called me. He says you canceled the payments. He says the project is over unless I come up with $30,000. Oh, I said, pouring myself coffee with my free hand. Did he? You can't just stop paying. We had an agreement. Actually, I don't recall signing anything. Do you have our agreement in writing? What? No, but you promised. You said you'd help me finish the renovation. I said a lot of things. You said a lot of things, too. I took a sip of coffee. It was good. The fancy beans I'd splurged on yesterday. Like how you love me. How grateful you are. How family takes care of family. I am grateful. You know I am. Do I? Because funny story, Mom. When I was decorating the house Friday, you know, the house I've paid $60,000 to renovate, I opened the kitchen window, for air, and I heard something interesting. The line went completely silent. I heard you and Rachel, I continued, my voice still pleasant, still cheerful, talking about what a loser I am, how pathetic it is that I try so hard to be part of the family. How you're planning to drop me the second I make that last payment. Sarah, just until she pays for the house renovation, I quoted. Then we can drop her. Ring any bells? You're taking that out of context. What context makes it better? Please enlighten me. I was venting. You know how stressful the renovation has been. Your sister and I were just blowing off steam. For 3.5 minutes? I timed it, by the way. I also recorded it. Would you like me to send you the audio file? Another long silence. When she spoke again, her voice had changed. Higher, shakier. The voice she used when she wanted something. Honey, please. I know it sounded bad, but I didn't mean those things. Neither did Rachel. We were tired and… Where are you going to get $30,000? Mom? What? To finish the renovation. James needs $30,000 to complete the project. Where are you going to get it? I thought you… From me? The loser daughter? The pathetic one who tries too hard? Stop saying that. Why? Rachel said it. You agreed with her. You laughed about it. Sarah, please. Try, Rachel, I suggested. She's family too, right? Family takes care of family. Maybe she can drop out of grad school and get a job, drain her savings account, cash out her retirement fund at 25 years old. She can't do that? Why not? I did. That's different. You have a career. You can rebuild your savings. Can I? Because I've been eating ramen for 2 months. I canceled my health insurance because I couldn't afford the premiums and the renovation. My car needs a new transmission, but I'm driving it anyway and praying it doesn't die. I haven't bought new clothes in half a year. But sure, Mom, I can rebuild, while Rachel finishes her master's degree debt-free because you're paying her tuition. I'd figured that out last month when she mentioned her full-ride scholarship. I'd looked up the program. It wasn't a full ride. Mom had been covering the rest, about $30,000 a year. How did you… I'm a software engineer. I know how to research things. So here's what's going to happen. I'm done paying for the renovation. James will send you a bill for the remaining balance. You'll figure out how to pay it yourself, maybe take out a loan, maybe sell some of the jewelry Dad left you, maybe actually ask Rachel to contribute for once. I don't care. But I'm not giving you another cent. You're going to leave me with a half-finished house? The kitchen doesn't have a sink. The roof still leaks when it rains. Sounds like a you problem. How can you be so cruel? I laughed. Actually laughed. Mom, you used me for $63,000 while calling me a loser behind my back. You planned to cut me out of your life the moment I stopped being useful. And I'm the cruel one? 63, what are you talking about? The renovation was 60. Plus the $8,000 I loaned you for property taxes last year. Remember? You said you'd pay me back. You never did. So I took it back yesterday, from our joint account, before I removed myself from it entirely. You what? I took back my money and closed the joint account. Well, removed myself from it. You still have about $3,000 left. Should cover groceries for a while. You can't do that. That's my money. Actually, as a joint account holder, I was legally entitled to withdraw those funds, especially since I have written proof from you calling it a loan. But if you think I stole from you, feel free to call the police. I've got a lawyer on standby who'd love to review my documentation. I didn't actually have a lawyer on standby, but she didn't need to know that. You've ruined everything. How am I supposed to pay for the renovation now? How am I supposed to fix the house? I don't know, Mom. Maybe you should have thought about that before you decided to use your daughter as a piggy bank while mocking her for being stupid enough to help. I never called you stupid. You're right. You called me pathetic and a loser. And desperate to be loved. I believe your exact words were, "It's sad, really, but useful." She made a choking sound. Here's what I'm offering, I said, my voice going cold. You're going to hang up this phone. You're going to tell Rachel that I overheard your conversation and I'm no longer paying for the renovation. You're going to figure out your own solution to your unfinished house. And you're going to tell everyone who asks that I'm a terrible, selfish daughter who abandoned you in your time of need. Why would I? Because if you don't, I'll tell them the truth. I'll send them the recording of you and Rachel calling me a loser and plotting to dump me. I'll show them the bank statements proving I paid $63,000 to help you. I'll let them know that you lied about being broke while paying Rachel's grad school tuition, and then everyone will know exactly what kind of mother you are. You wouldn't. Try me. I've already got an email drafted. Aunt Linda, Uncle Marcus, the Johnsons, the Parkers, everyone at church. One click, Mom. That's all it takes. Sarah, goodbye, Mom. Don't call me again unless you want that email sent. I hung up. She tried calling back immediately. I declined the call. She tried again. I declined. On the third attempt, I blocked her number. 2 minutes later, my phone buzzed with a text from Rachel. What the hell did you do to Mom? She's freaking out. I replied, ask her about Friday, the conversation you two had in the backyard, the one where you called me a pathetic loser. 3 dots appeared, disappeared, appeared again. Then, that was just venting. You're seriously going to ruin Christmas over a misunderstanding? Misunderstanding? You said I was embarrassing, that I try too hard to be part of the family. Mom said I was desperate to be loved and sad but useful. Which part did I misunderstand? The dots appeared and disappeared 4 times before she responded, you weren't supposed to hear that. No shit. That's kind of the whole problem, Rachel. Mom needs that money. You can't just abandon her. Sure I can. Watch me. You're being a selfish bitch. I smiled at my phone and typed, and you're being exactly what I always knew you were. Don't contact me again. I blocked her number too. For about an hour, my phone stayed quiet. I did laundry, meal prepped for the week, finally had the mental space to think about something other than budgets and money transfers. Then my phone rang from a number I didn't recognize. I almost didn't answer, but something made me pick up. Sarah, it's James, the contractor. Hi, James. Look, I don't want to get in the middle of family drama, but I need to know what's happening. Your mother called me crying, saying you had a fight and she needs more time to come up with the money, but she's also hinting that maybe you'll change your mind. I've got subcontractors scheduled for next week and materials being delivered Wednesday. I need to know if this project is actually happening. It's not, I said firmly. Not with my money. If my mother wants to pay for it herself, that's between you and her. But James, get everything in writing, get a deposit up front, because I don't think she has $30,000, and I think she's been assuming I'd cave and pay anyway. He was quiet for a moment. She doesn't have it, does she? I genuinely don't know, but it's not my problem anymore. Can I ask what happened? You seemed so committed to this project. I found out I was being used. That's all you need to know. I'm sorry, he said, and he actually sounded it. For what it's worth, the work you paid for was good work. The house looks great, even unfinished. Thanks, James. Good luck dealing with my mother. I hung up feeling lighter somehow, like I'd been carrying something heavy and had finally set it down. Sunday evening, around 7 p.m., someone knocked on my apartment door. Hard, aggressive. I checked the peephole. Mom. Sarah, I know you're in there. Your car is in the lot. I opened the door with my phone already recording video. I held it up so she could see the red dot. Hi, Mom. You're being recorded. What do you want? Her eyes were red, mascara smudged. She looked like she'd been crying for hours. Part of me, the old part, the part that still wanted her approval, almost felt bad. Almost. You stole from me. I took back money I loaned you. There's a difference. That was a gift. That money was for family emergencies. Really? Because I have a text message from you from March 2024 where you explicitly call it a loan and promise to pay me back. Would you like me to show it to the police? Since you're throwing around the word stole? Her face went pale. I want to come in. We need to talk about this like adults. We can talk right here. You can stay in the hallway where there are witnesses and security cameras. Or you can leave. How did you become so cold? You taught me, Mom. You taught me that love is transactional, that family is only valuable when they're useful. You taught me really, really well. That's not... I never... You absolutely did. For 6 months, I was worthy of your love because I was paying for your renovation. I got weekly phone calls, dinner invitations. You made my favorite foods. But the moment I stopped being useful, you were planning to drop me. Just until she pays for the house renovation. Then we can drop her. Your words, Mom. Not mine. She tried a different tactic. The soft voice, the trembling lip. Honey, I'm sorry. I know what I said was horrible, But I was just stressed about money, and your sister was being difficult, and I lashed out. You know I didn't mean it. Except you did. And here's how I know, because you weren't lashing out. You were planning. The contractor says 2 more payments, then we're done with her, completely. That's not stress, Mom. That's premeditation. What do you want from me? You want me to grovel? Fine, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. Please, just help me finish the renovation. We can work out a payment plan. I'll pay you back, I promise. Like you paid back the property tax loan? She flinched. Here's what's going to happen, I said, keeping my voice level. You're going to leave. You're going to figure out your own renovation. And you're going to tell everyone who asks that I'm a terrible daughter who abandoned you in your time of need. Why would I say that? Because the alternative is, I tell everyone the truth. That you used me for $63,000 while calling me a loser. That you planned to cut me off the second I finished paying. That you paid for Rachel's grad school while I ate ramen to afford your renovation. I have the recording, Mom. I have the texts. I have bank statements. And I have a whole email ready to send to everyone we know. I held up my phone again, showing her the drafted email in my outbox. Her mouth opened. Nothing came out. So what's it going to be? Do you want to be the poor mother with the ungrateful daughter? Or do you want to be the manipulative mother who got caught using her kid for cash? She stared at me for a long moment. Then, quietly, I raised you better than this. I laughed, a short, sharp sound. No, Mom, you didn't. You raised me to believe that love had to be earned through sacrifice. That I had to prove myself worthy of your attention. That family meant draining my bank account and eating dollar store pasta while you renovated your kitchen. You raised me to be useful. And when I'm not useful anymore, you taught me that I'm disposable. That's not fair. Life isn't fair. You taught me that too. I started to close the door, then stopped. One more thing. Oh, and Mom, Merry Christmas. Hope you enjoy it in your half-finished house, with Rachel, the daughter who actually matters. I closed the door. She stood there for a moment. I could see her shadow under the door. Then I heard footsteps walking away. I sat down on my couch, phone still in my hand, and realized I was shaking. Not from fear or sadness, from relief. For the first time in 6 months, I wasn't worried about making a payment. Wasn't calculating how much I could afford to give up. Wasn't trying to figure out how to make myself small enough, useful enough, valuable enough to deserve love. I was just done. Monday morning, I woke up to 47 text messages and 12 missed calls from various family members. My Aunt Linda, Uncle Marcus, Rachel's friend Ashley, who'd somehow gotten my number, even my cousin David, who I hadn't talked to in 3 years. The messages ranged from concerned, "Sarah, your mom says you two had a fight? What's going on?" to accusatory, "How could you abandon your mother like this, after everything she's done for you?" to straight-up abusive, "You're a selfish bitch and I hope you're happy ruining Christmas." That last one was from Rachel, texting from a different number since I'd blocked her original one. I blocked the new number too. Then I sent one mass text to the concerned family members, the ones who'd actually asked what happened instead of immediately attacking me. I overheard Mom and Rachel calling me a loser and making fun of me for helping with the renovation. They were planning to cut contact with me as soon as I made the last payment. I have a recording if you'd like to hear it. I'm no longer paying for their renovation, and I'm taking space from both of them. Please respect that. 3 people responded immediately, asking for the recording. I sent it to them. Aunt Linda called me 20 minutes later. "Sarah, oh my God, I'm so sorry. It's not your fault. Your mother called me yesterday crying about how you'd stolen from her and abandoned her. She didn't mention any of—" Jesus Christ, did she really call you pathetic? Multiple times. The best part is when she said I was desperate to be loved, and that it was sad but useful. Linda was quiet for a long moment. Then, "Your father would be ashamed of her." That hit harder than I expected. My eyes stung. "I'm going to call her," Linda continued, "and I'm going to tell her exactly what I think of this. And Sarah, I'm proud of you, for standing up for yourself, for not letting her use you anymore." "Thanks, Aunt Linda." I mean it. You deserve better than this. You've always deserved better. We talked for another 10 minutes. She told me about her holiday plans, invited me to Christmas dinner at her place if I wanted to come. No pressure, she said. But your family, real family, the kind that doesn't come with strings attached. I told her I'd think about it. Uncle Marcus called next. Then my cousin David, who said, "Dude, I listened to that recording. Your mom and sister sound like villains in a Lifetime movie. What the fuck? Right? Listen, I know we haven't been close, but if you need anything, like, seriously, anything, call me." That was messed up. By lunchtime, the family had split into 3 camps. Team Sarah, smaller but vocal. Team Diane, mostly her church friends who didn't know the full story. And Team Switzerland, the people who wanted no part of the drama. I appreciated Team Sarah. I understood Team Switzerland. And Team Diane could go to hell. Tuesday afternoon, I got a call from a number with my mom's area code but a business prefix. I answered cautiously. "Ms. Chen, this is Patricia Alvarez. I'm a mediator specializing in family disputes. Your mother hired me to facilitate a conversation between the two of you." "Did she?" "She's very concerned about your relationship and wants to work toward reconciliation. Would you be willing to meet with both of us for a mediation session?" "How much is she paying you?" "I'm sorry?" "For your services, how much is my mother paying you to facilitate this conversation?" "Our rate is $200 per hour, but I don't see how—" "So, she has money for a mediator, but not for the renovation she guilt-tripped me into paying for. Interesting. Ms. Chen, tell my mother that I'm not interested in mediation. I'm not interested in reconciliation. I'm interested in being left alone. And tell her that if she contacts me again, directly or through a third party, I'll send that recording to everyone she knows. Have a nice day." I hung up. She called back. I didn't answer. Wednesday, I went to work for the first time since Friday. My manager, Karen, noticed something was different immediately. "You look lighter," she said. "I cut some dead weight out of my life." "Good for you. Does this mean you're going to stop eating sad desk salads and actually come to team lunch this week?" I grinned. "Yeah, actually, I'm buying." For the first time in 6 months, I could afford to buy lunch. I ordered the pasta dish I'd been craving for months and didn't even look at the price. It tasted like freedom. Thursday morning, I got an email from James the contractor. "Sarah, I wanted to let you know that I've ceased all work on your mother's house. She couldn't come up with the deposit I required, and based on our conversations, I don't believe she has the funds to complete the project. I've filed a lien on the property for the unpaid balance of $8,500 for materials I already ordered for the job. For what it's worth, I'm sorry about what happened. No one deserves to be used like that." "Best of luck, James," I replied. "Thanks for letting me know, James. Good luck with the lien." Then I forwarded the email to Aunt Linda with the subject line, "In case Mom tries to say I'm preventing her from finishing the renovation." Linda responded, "Noted. Also, she's been calling everyone she knows asking to borrow money. So far, no takers. Turns out people don't like lending to someone who's willing to use their own daughter." I smiled at my phone. Friday afternoon, a full week after I'd overheard the conversation that changed everything, my phone rang with another unknown number. Against my better judgment, I answered. "Sarah Chen?" "Yes." "This is Melissa Torres. I'm a reporter for the Metro Daily News. I received an interesting tip about a family dispute involving financial exploitation. Would you be willing to comment?" My stomach dropped. "Who told you about this?" "I'm not at liberty to say, but I've heard the recording and I've seen documentation of your financial contributions. This is a compelling human interest story about family manipulation and—" "No." "I'm sorry?" "No, I'm not interested in talking to the press. This is private. It stays private." "With all due respect, Ms. Chen, your mother has been telling people you stole from her and abandoned her. Don't you want to tell your side?" "My side is for me, not for the news. Please don't call me again." I hung up and immediately called Aunt Linda. "Did you talk to a reporter?" "What? No. Why would I?" "Someone gave her the recording and documentation. Someone from our family." "Oh my God. I'll find out who. I swear, Sarah, I didn't say anything. I know you didn't, but someone did, and I need it stopped. I don't want this going public. I'm on it. It took Linda 3 hours to discover that my cousin David, well-meaning, impulsive David, had sent the story to a reporter friend of his because he thought I deserved justice. I called him, David, what the fuck? I just thought, you thought wrong. Call your reporter friend and tell her the story is off limits. Tell her I'll deny everything if she publishes. Tell her I'll claim the recording is fake. I don't care what you tell her, but make this go away. I was just trying to help. You want to help? Leave me alone. All of you. I'm done with this family drama. I'm done being the entertainment. I'm just done. I hung up before he could respond. David must have followed through because the reporter never called again, and I never saw a story published. By Saturday, December 14th, 11 days before Christmas, the drama had mostly died down. The family group chat had gone quiet after Aunt Linda posted a long message saying that anyone who wanted to discuss the situation further should do so privately, not in a public forum. Team Sarah had offered support. Team Diane had gone quiet. Team Switzerland had started posting pictures of their holiday cookies like nothing had happened. I'd started sleeping through the night again, started cooking real meals, started looking at my bank account without feeling sick. I'd even started thinking about the future, about grad school maybe, or a career change. Or just living without constantly calculating whether I could afford to survive. On Sunday, December 15th, I got a letter in the mail. Handwritten, my mother's looping script on the envelope. I almost threw it away without opening it, but curiosity won. Sarah, I know you don't want to hear from me. I know you probably won't even read this, but I need to say it anyway. You were right. Everything you said was true. I used you. I took advantage of your kindness and your desire to be loved. I said terrible things about you behind your back, and I planned to cut you off once you'd served your purpose. I don't have an excuse. I could tell you I was stressed about money, or that Rachel influenced me, or that I was in a dark place mentally. But the truth is, I was selfish. I saw an opportunity to get what I wanted, and I took it. And I didn't care who I hurt. The house is still unfinished. James put a lien on it. I can't afford to pay him back, and I can't afford to hire someone else to complete the work. Rachel offered to help, but she doesn't have that kind of money. No one does. I'm going to have to sell. Downsize to something smaller, something I can afford, and I deserve that. I deserve all of this. I'm not asking for forgiveness. I'm not asking for another chance. I'm just asking you to know that I'm sorry. Truly, deeply sorry. Not because I got caught. Not because I'm facing consequences. But because I hurt you. You deserved a mother who loved you unconditionally, who was proud of you, who valued you for who you are, not what you could give. I failed you. If you never want to speak to me again, I understand. But please know that I love you, and I'm sorry. Mom. I read the letter 3 times. Then I put it in a drawer and went about my day. Maybe someday I'd respond. Maybe someday I'd be ready to have a conversation about repair and rebuilding. Maybe someday I'd even forgive her. But not today. Today, I had my own life to rebuild. Christmas Day, I went to Aunt Linda's house. She'd invited 15 people, and it was chaotic and loud and wonderful. My cousin David apologized again, and I told him we were good. Just don't ever talk to reporters about me again. Uncle Marcus gave me a card with a $500 check inside and a note that said, "For your next adventure, you've earned it. We ate too much food, played board games, watched Home Alone for the millionth time." And when Linda proposed a toast to family, the kind that actually shows up, everyone raised their glasses to me. For the first time in years, I felt like I belonged somewhere, not because I'd paid for it or earned it or proved myself worthy, just because I existed, just because I was enough. Later that night, alone in my apartment, I pulled out my phone and looked at the email I'd drafted 2 weeks ago, the one addressed to everyone Mom knew, the one with the recording and the receipts and the full explanation. I hovered over the delete button. Then I moved it to a folder labeled Insurance instead. Not to use, just to have, just in case. I turned on my Christmas tree lights, The ones I'd bought with my last discretionary $100, back when I was still trying to earn love, and I smiled. I'd spent $63,000 learning that I couldn't buy my mother's love, but I'd also learned something else. I didn't need to. I was already enough. And that was worth every penny.